All right, so what I'm going to explain now is how you would create a mission, a complete mission, a mission where the boat would go to a waypoint that you've either identified with your fish finder or you simply selected a spot out in the ocean by virtue of its distance. So if you look at this Google map, you can actually see that there's a channel there, there's sand is quite shallow there. So you can actually see from above that there is a channel. I don't know if you can see it on here, but you can actually see where the deep water starts. So you say, I want to go to the deep water. I want to go to that channel. All right, so as before, we're going to go here to zigzag. I'm going to go for blank. We're going to we start with a takeoff. We put that in the water ahead of us, in line with the arrowhead. Right, and I want to get out to this very deep water here. Sorry, go to waypoint, mark the waypoint. Right, you can see it's more or less in a straight line. I can move it around a bit if I want to. Obviously, I also might turn the boat. But you can see that distance is 789 meters. That would probably be a very good fishing spot for Dorado and that sort of fish which like to sit on the dirty water line. So, okay, assume that that's your intended drop spot. You want the boat to go there, you want the boat to drop the bait, and you want the boat to sail home. How we do that, we mark a couple of additional, we'll call them waypoints for now, like that. We're going to mark 3 additional ones. Those 2 are going to be used to qualify or to tell the boat what to do when it gets to waypoint 2. So it sailed out, got to waypoint 2, and now we're going to tell it what to do. Right, so I want to qualify waypoint 2 using that waypoint 3. This is a step that you have to follow. You have to put the boat off at this point. Right, so now we continue. We touch back on the kite. You have to do those 2 steps, and then you say disconnect. This is the important part. So boat off, back to the main menu, click disconnect, and now it says waiting for vehicle connection. Right, now we can go on and complete our mission. We click on 3, we click on waypoint. Okay, so we touch on basic, we scroll up until we find advanced. You click on advanced. Right, and now what do we want to have happen when the boat arrives at that waypoint? What you do is you want to set a server. Which server? It's the server that opens this bait tray. So you touch on there, and it's server number 2. That's it. Click done. And then what throw must it have? Well, to open the tray fully, you want to have a throw of 2200. Done. Right, there we go. So you'll see now that waypoint 3 has disappeared. I've used it to qualify what must happen at 2. You do exactly the same thing with the next one. You make it pump that plunger twice to make certain that the flap opens. So once again, waypoint, basic, advanced, set server. Which server? Server 2. Click, throw, 2200. Done. Right, what's going to happen now? At waypoint 2, it's going to pop the tray, and it's going to do it twice to make certain that the flap opens. Once it's done that, it's going to then take off again, and it's going to then sail on to this waypoint here. Now, this one's far too far to the... Click on there, and we can move that right there. We just want to bring the line back adjacent, bring the boat back adjacent to the line. But let's assume that the wind was blowing and that this line was potentially moving that direction. You could take this and put it on that side. Then you can have the boat sail to the left and come home. Bring it closer, and then you would say, right, I want it to come back to there. You can move that closer to the beach. Right, so the boat would go out to waypoint 2, pump the tray twice, drop the bait, turn left, sail to 5, then come back. So it comes back at a tangent to the line and away from where the line potentially might drift to. When it gets to forget about that. When it gets to waypoint 6, the boat will stop. At that point, you can engage RTL, moving the sail mode switch on top to bring it a little closer, or you can simply sail the boat home manually. And at this particular point, the boat is still off, so this mission needs to be uploaded. At this point, you turn the boat back on. So you've created the entire mission, you're very happy with it, you put the boat on,
initializing flight mode,
and now it will tell you,
manual flight mode.
Right, so we're in manual on there. Right now it says there upload required. For that mission to be loaded, you touch on there, it's now loaded. and away we go. If I would now touch this auto sail switch, if I move to the left and I launch the boat at that point, put it in the water, it would take off, sail to 2, drop the bait, move to 5, and sail back to 6. And that's it, your bait will have been dropped. Now the next one that I'll show you is how to actually save that mission or to file it so you can keep it. So if you're fishing in the same spot every day, you can create these little missions for all of your rods, and tomorrow you arrive there. If you go to the same spot, you can use this exact same missions again. Right, just to double check that your mission has in fact been uploaded and saved, click on there, and that shows you that is your mission.